Hello and welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that is perfectly balanced as all things should be. My name is Isaac Edlin. I am your host tonight, and with me I have two fellow Infinity Bros. The first one is been my fellow mate over the last few podcast episodes. It is the carrot distributor and tinfoil hat distributor in the Infinity Bros universe, Mark Jones.
I'm glad to be back again. Anything I say is not necessarily true, nor is it real.
It's just what you bring to the table, and we can choose to accept it or reject it, but you bring it to the table for us.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. He's the guy that brings us the facts, whether we like it or not. And the other Infinity Bro that I have with me is the content creator extraordinaire, Magic the Gathering guy, Robbie Sauter.
Oh, hi. I'm Robbie.
Yeah.
I'm on the Infinity Bros podcast. I've done this before.
You are. You've done it before.
Robbie's
like
the guy.
Once or twice, maybe.
I'm just that guy that you see. You see my face a lot, but no one ever knows my name, which is always the fun part. Because every time you might make a video, Isaac, and people are like, "Wait, who's this guy?" If they actually look at the name, like, that's the other guy. We kind of look alike, but we're not the same. We're just bald. We're just bald white guys with beards. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
But neither of you look like the same.
We could probably pass as brothers, but
we could definitely pass as brothers.
Yeah. But if you see a face on the Infinity Bros, it's probably Robbie. Robbie's out there just putting the Infinity Bros on his back.
If it's feet, it's Zane's, apparently.
Yeah. What do you think the percentages of so like I've been on a lot. You, Isaac, you've made quite a few. Jarrett's made a few. Max made a few back in the day. Has Mark ever made a video?
Mark made a few back in the day. Yeah. A few. Zane has
never made a video.
Made zero. Yes.
Yeah.
Zane has never. We don't do a good job of when we're together making content.
That's true. We don't. We just
like to.
We enjoy
to be friends. Yeah. We do.
I made that Thanksgiving one that
was a good one. That was one of our first big ones.
That was probably our only one that we were all together for.
That is.
You know what's sad though? That Hoth video we made, I love that one, but it didn't catch on.
Dude,
that's my favorite video we've ever made.
Isaac, send it to me again. I will post it. That's gonna go crazy.
I'm gonna
every time I think about that, it's winter, we should post that. That video, if it hits the right audience, will explode.
All right, sending it to you.
I think
if you want to check out that video, pay attention to the Infinity Bros social media. You can check it out at theinfinitybros.com. And you have access to a whole 45-minute Patreon exclusive episode if you follow the link in the show notes. We talked for a long time about not much at all. So, if you like that kind of stuff, you like guys being dudes and, making fun of each other and
being mean to their friends, who we love.
Who we love dearly.
Our friend, but it's okay. It's a good relationship if you get mad at your friends and say mean things about them.
But you can't treat your wife like you treat your friends. It's doesn't work out.
Generally not a good idea.
Don't do that unless you don't want a wife anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just FYI, so, if you think you can treat your I'm sorry. Go on.
We love if you would treat us as your friend, and you can make fun of us too. We won't. We promise our feelings won't get hurt. Well, some of us anyway. Some of us might.
We're also very sensitive guys here too. So
my feelings have been hurt many times on the internet.
We won't unfriend each other, but
I shove that down deep and I just hold it there.
We'll let the tumor take it in 50 years.
But we still appreciate feedback. Hopefully, it's positive feedback. But the occasional constructive criticism is appreciated as well.
As long as you're being nice and not being a dick about it.
Yeah, just be nice about it. Okay.
Don't be a dick.
You can check out the Infinity Bros on all social media. Check it out at theinfinitybros.com. We're going to be talking about a few different things today. I've got some nerd news for you guys, and then we're going to be reviewing The Penguin later on at the back half of the episode. But before we even go any further, I want to say that we have a special rating system in the Infinity Bros podcast. So if you haven't listened to us before, here's that. All right, boys, it is time for some nerd news.
Nerd news.
Muppets.
Give you the news, face, neck, and chest.
That's another podcast I did listen to is New Heights. I listened to that for a little bit, and then I started getting really annoyed of the Kelsey brothers, and I stopped listening to it.
Yeah. Travis in particular kind of gets on my nerves. Like Jason, I can
love
stand.
Jason.
Yeah,
Big Jason
he's a great
guy.
dude. Travis gets a little douchey sometimes.
I'm back on the Jason train after he smashed that kid's phone. That made me happy.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a good time. Love that.
Break things.
But first thing I want to hit you guys up with on Nerd News is the How to Train Your Dragon live action trailer. This is something that Robbie for sure is pumped about, so I wanted to make sure we mention that.
I'm very excited.
Dropped a couple days ago, and How to Train Your Dragon is not really that old. When was that movie? I should have that pulled up. That's a good podcast.
Like 2010.
You guys look that up. It's not that old, but it is now being remade into a live action version, which has been the trend among the remake.
2010.
Reboot.
Mark was right.
2010. So that movie's only 14 years old.
And they made 3 movies. 3 movies and a lot of Netflix shows.
Yes, also true. But they're remaking that into a live action movie, and the trailer just dropped a couple days ago. So what were you guys' first reactions to this? And what was your reaction to the news that they're making a live action in the first place? You guys are on board with all these live action remakes, or are you generally not so much?
It depends on the live action. It also depends on the company. I have not been very thrilled with the Disney live actions, but I believe this is DreamWorks' first live action. That was a cartoon animated that they're making into live action. I could be wrong. Someone fact check me. But How to Train Your Dragon, I was very skeptical on because of what Disney's done, where they just like make their own new story. Whereas after seeing this trailer, they're like, no, that story's great. We're making this cookie cutter that. Like the trailer is the exact same trailer as the first trailer for How to Train Your Dragon, as long as you found the right trailer and you didn't find the AI generated trailer that me and Mark did when we first searched it up. If you also just shout out here, if you want a really good side by side to see the original animated trailer and the new live action trailer, like one on top of each other, go check out J-Buck. He did a really good video with both of those. They are scene for scene the exact same, and it's incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome considering that. Sorry, I had my mic muted. But it's pretty awesome considering that, like you said, a lot of these live actions are adapting the story a little bit. Which, in one way, I'm like, okay, that's okay, especially with these Disney ones. Which these Disney live actions a lot of times are, these really old stories that have plenty of different story versions or retellings of them. It's okay if you tell your own different story, but what's the point of doing it as a like live action version of specifically that cartoon if that's what you're trying to do, is my thought on it. So the fact that they're doing kind of a shot for shot remaking is intriguing to me. But also at the same time, I'm like, okay, that movie is really good. So why do we need another version of it? Or why do we need a live action?
Which would be the argument. Like, why, if it's already if something is already really good, you don't need to change it, which is what I think Disney's mistakenly done, specifically Mulan. That's the one that really makes me mad. That movie might be okay. I have no idea because I can't watch it without thinking of how good the cartoon version of that movie is. Because that cartoon version of that movie is great. They don't even sing in the live action. Hello, like
Fair.
The movie sucks. And it could be great. It could be a great movie. I'll never know for sure.
If you're going into Mulan,
can't watch it,
thinking it's going to be like the cartoon, you're going to have a bad time. If you're
Yeah,
gonna go and
that's all I
watch Mulan
wanted.
and be like, I'm gonna have a somewhat historical, or at least how the real story is telling of Mulan, then you're probably gonna have a good time.
Sure.
That's how you can look at it.
I don't care.
As for How You Train Your Dragon, I was kind of like skeptical. It's like, are they doing just sort of shot for shot? Or are they going to change it up? And honestly, I think they're going the right route, probably about trying to stay as close to the original story as possible, but just live action. Because also in my journey of watching this trailer, I saw the Mufasa trailer. I'm like, this looks like hot garbage, just like the Lion King, where they call it
The
live
Lion King,
action.
yeah.
It's like
Right.
it's not live action. These aren't real animals. They're all CGI animals.
Right.
So
These aren't real.
there's not a human actor in the Lion King movie, the computer generated Lion King movie.
Right.
So
yeah,
and
Could AI when? Okay, this is totally
well, and
when will AI be able to make a shot for shot Lion King that looks exactly like the one that Disney just made?
I don't know.
Like visually,
when AI
I
becomes
feel like AI is
real
pretty close.
and not just
yeah,
the super
I feel
fast.
like it
AI
probably
is pretty
could now,
close.
but it's gonna be a little sketch, But like a couple more years, maybe.
AI is wild. Sorry, I had to go down that rabbit hole.
No. I go down the rabbit.
You go down the rabbit holes. I want to just like I'm fishing for rabbit holes.
You're peeking. You're poking in the holes.
What's in there?
Just putting it.
But no, the thing that really worried me when they first announced a live action How to Train Your Dragon is like, okay, how are you gonna make those dragons look real without making them look silly? And they just went, F it. These things are gonna look just like the dragons from the animated movie, just a little bit more real. And they were like, we're not trying to break the mold. I was worried they were going to change how all the dragons looked. And they're like, nope. We're just basically taking the animated version,
so if you go down
3D and like real, and that's all we're doing.
If you go down the business side of the train of thought of why you make a live action, it's a known IP. Toys sold well, kids love it. The kids who loved it 10 or 14 years ago probably have kids now, so they're going to take their kids to that. Those kids will love it. There'll be toys for this. You can buy those toys. Less risky less risky going with an IP that's already known versus just making your own dragon movie that no one really would care about. So
the other interesting thing is that the boy actor is young enough that they can do all three movies, and by the time it's the third movie, he'll be like 20 or so,
and they can do
which is about the same age as Hiccup. It'll be perfect. Like,
well, and I wonder if Jay Baruchel is gonna have a cameo in this. You would think he would be in the voice for.
I hope so. He's got to be in there. He's got to be in there somewhere. I don't know where.
Live action though, so Lion King we already mentioned a few times. I mean, I feel like we all have mid. I did not like it at all. Didn't think it was like just completely devoid of emotion to me.
Are any of them
good? Watch the Mufasa movie when it comes out.
I will not be watching that. But
is there a live action Disney movie that we like?
Like that's a remake of a movie that's
like a remake of a cartoon. Is there a good one yet?
I thought the Jungle Book was okay. Or above average.
Jungle Book is okay. Yeah, no, that's a good one. That's
good. But also, it's like that really wasn't too hard because you said the human element in it, right? And they kind of stayed true to the story versus like Mulan did not stay true to the musical that we saw. That was awesome. So like that's what kind of. It also came down during COVID too. So
down to business.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, great.
But we'll get a Moana live action movie, I think, next year, the year after.
Yeah, actually, there's been shots of that leaking, and The Rock looks like he's got like a bodysuit on.
Is he wearing a bodysuit? That was my biggest question.
He's got to be because he looks too big. He looks.
His head looks weird. He has a big head.
I like if they're going the route of like trying to make it look like the movies. That's what they're doing. Is they're giving him this giant body for this little.
I'm worried it's going to look so silly. Like
it is going to look silly.
He's jacked enough that he could just be him. Like I don't know. It's going to be a movie where The Rock isn't just playing The Rock, so that'll be interesting.
It will be.
Or will he?
Or will he? If they just imagine The Rock has way more screen time than he should, and more he has a lot of screen time in the original one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything that I've gotten so bad on The Rock now. It's like anything that he's in, I'm like, I'm gonna hate this.
Yeah.
Well, don't go watch WWE.
Man, Black Adam ruined me.
Back when he got into acting, it was just so fun, and he just felt like he was just Like he just had a lot of
Yeah.
fun in his roles, and now it's just
Yeah,
like he's
Scorpion
trying to
King was
make
great.
every role.
Then he
be-
just clicked accept on every single role.
yeah. Now he's just trying to make every role be his like defining role, and it's just like, dude, like
The dude's a
know,
great
man.
salesman. He's a politician.
yes.
Well, it's
yes.
very much like this. His name makes money. Rock, you do whatever you want because we're going to make money. And that's,
Yeah.
And the times he has actually a passion project, it, burns up in a fire like Black Adam. So,
Yeah, he don't care. He makes his money. It don't matter.
Wolf. Yeah, he made his.
but going
money,
back
that's true.
to movies I actually really enjoyed as live action, Beauty and the Beast. Loved that live action version.
That was okay.
all right,
Yeah,
too.
that was
That
okay.
was also back to like pretty much a shot for shot. So I think that's what you got to do versus like the Lion
all
King
you
is
have
just
to
not a
do.
good property to do. But I will take an
Cinderella sucked.
Aristocrats live action.
Aristocats?
Yeah,
With
I'll do
people?
that. No, but like
Or
cat.
like
Are-
cat
are they
people.
gonna
But,
look
but
like
not
cat.
but
Are
not
they
like
gonna look
cats
like the
from
Cats
the Cats
musical?
musical.
Or-
No, I don't want that. I don't want that at all.
Oh,
I don't want human cats. Either give me real people or actually CGI cats. That's what I want. But not
You know
like
what
looking
one
like
we're
the
not-
cats.
You know which one we're not thinking about is when they did live action 101 Dalmatians, like back in the day.
see
Those
those?
are great.
Yeah,
Those are
those are
great.
good.
And some of those dogs are real. Not all of them.
Some of those dogs are real.
Yeah.
They weren't real when the CGI was so bad sometimes when they had to do like
Yep.
certain
Yeah.
things. But it's like,
That was before the
this is
fad
part of
of
the times.
remaking movies. So
right. Yeah,
those
they were ahead of the curve.
Wasn't
Yeah.
Glenn Close in that movie? Wasn't she
Yeah,
Cruella?
mhm. She was
Yeah.
Cruella. Yeah,
Yeah, she was great.
she was good.
She was
Good
great.
stuff,
Did you
Tina
guys
Cruella.
watch the Did you guys watch the Cruella movie that came out a few years ago?
Yeah,
I
that
haven't
actually
never
wasn't
did,
too bad. Wasn't too bad. I thought it was actually pretty good.
I heard good things. Never got around.
I'll give
to
it a
watching
solid 4.7 out of 6.
Oh, not a
Okay.
1.5.
No, well, it wasn't garbage. It wasn't Jaws 4, so we're fine.
Oh, it wasn't okay.
Or
It
that
wasn't-
Beaver
it
monster
wa-
movie.
It wasn't IGN the Penguin.
Gosh.
We'll talk about that later. Anyways, tell us what you
What's
think
other
about
news?
the live action movies coming up. How to Train Your Dragon, Moana, all the ones that are coming up. So tell us what you think on social media. Next thing up for Nerd News is I have a couple DC related things before we dive into the Penguin. So you guys are the perfect ones to have on this podcast. Robbie and Mark are both DC guys. So here we
Yep.
go. Alan Tudyk revealed as voice of Clayface in Creature
Hell.
Commandos. So Creature Commandos is the animated yeah buddy it's the animated show that's coming out to kick off the DCU, James Gunn's
Which
DCU.
those characters also supposed to be playing live action versions of themselves down the road.
Yes, they will be.
yeah.
But Alan Tudyk was casted as a different, I think he's Dr. Phosphorus.
Yeah, he's
And
not
then
like the
interview with Rotten Tomatoes, he revealed that he's also being voicing Clayface in the show as well, which I think he voiced Clayface in the Harley Quinn show as well. So he does have
He did in something else.
some
Yeah.
experience in that. But he said that this is a much like darker version of Clayface where he's like a serial killer and like serious. So this is going to be an interesting show. I mean, we've seen a couple trailers for it, but I think overall I'm pretty excited about this. What do you
It's
DC
really
guys
funny.
think of Alan Tudyk and Creature Commandos?
with him saying that where I just think of James Gunn saying, "Oh, we're going to be light and fun," like basically saying like we're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy for the DC, and stray away from the Zack
Did he ever
Snyder.
say that?
He didn't say that verbatim, but kind of said that. And all of a sudden, now we're
He
getting
alluded to
kind of
like bringing
implied
hope
it,
and
right?
like
yeah. But then all of a sudden, we're like Clayface is a
Color.
serial killer. He kills children.
there's gotta be a light and a dark, right?
I don't think
It's just-
Clayface ever mechanically did that in the DC universe. So
Yeah, probably not.
Guess
You
we'll
know,
find out.
it's too early in the James Gunn era of DCU to really just have that like future excitement. I'm all for the shows coming up. Alan Tudyk is
Yeah.
also supposed to be in Superman movie, so I don't know if he's playing a different character or he's going to actually be Clayface in that.
Maybe
So,
he'll be Clayface in that. Yeah, who knows?
we'll see.
Yeah, everything that James Gunn is putting out there, everything that I'm hearing from this DC universe, James Gunn's DC universe, I'm all in. It sounds like they're doing really good things. There hasn't been a move or an actor getting a job that I've been like, oh, that guy. So no, I'm thrilled about it. My only, and we talked about this on the last podcast I was on, I think. My only issue is like, okay, but now we have James's universe coming, but then we also have the Batman universe with the Penguin doing so well, and it's just such a divide in how they're going about it that it's really interesting. And I know there's got to be some sort of balancing act to it, but it just confuses the general public, and I'm still confused.
But Batman, the Batman's going to be in the Elseworlds because that's what they've also said.
I know, but we know what the Elseworlds is like.
Yeah, but who cares? What the general public does not. There's enough fans at this point that I don't think they need to care about the general public to make their money. They just need to do true. You know, hey, hear me out. This is a wild idea, Robbie. Wild. The wildest thing you'll hear all night. What if these production companies just made movies and shows to cater to the big population that watches and listens and reads and buys all this content prior, and just be true to those fans and the content, and maybe just hear me out, maybe
I'm listening,
they might gain other fans with this new content versus alienating
so you're saying
other fans with the content they thought they loved but no longer love because production companies ruined it for them.
So what I'm hearing from you is, if we use the stories that have been building fans for years from the comic books, and we don't change those stories, we just keep those stories as they are and put them on film,
and maybe you can modernize them a little bit, just a little bit, you know,
that maybe new people would be interested.
Bingo.
That sounds crazy. No.
They
should make their own stories. They should take the same. No. They should take the same names from other
IP. Get rid of all the redheads.
Get rid of all the redheads.
In the DCU, no redheads.
They should take the same names from those movies like Dark Knight Returns, and then they should make the movies completely different and not even close to the actual comic book.
Yeah,
I think that's a strategy. That's a strategy. It's an idea.
It's a strategy, of course.
I mean, they could do that. Marvel kind of did it.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Or
they could, or they just make up their own stories.
Which could be fun too. But
it could be fun. Hey, the Penguin's doing well.
The Penguin's great.
That's an old story.
But before we get to that, did you also hear James Gunn with the Peacemaker ending kind of said like that's the only part that's not canon any longer.
That's and they're gonna literally what my next nerd news.
Well, I read your mind.
Great job. Way to go. Way to
go. So Peacemaker won't be canon?
No, the ending of Peacemaker won't be canon.
So to preface this, James Gunn said a long time ago, like when he was starting the DCU, that Peacemaker season 1 is not canon to his DCU. Peacemaker season 2 is canon, which already sounds really confusing, right? So
yeah, because we had different Superman then.
Like this past month said that season 1 is canon, except for the Justice League part.
That's fair.
So,
and they're going to explain it
slightly less confusing. Yeah.
And so they're going to Deadpool it. They're going to retcon it with like Deadpool fourth wall break kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, that would be.
Or what would be funny is if they just like
he just goes to a new universe.
The heads of the new actors on the bodies. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
That's you know what? That's a good idea.
Just make it super dumb and silly, and just like move on from it. Like who cares?
Yeah, because that's all you have to do. Because I mean, honestly, the real fans that are watching everything are going to watch it and be like, "Ha, that's funny," because they already knew what was going to happen.
Right.
And like you said before, who cares about the general public?
That's who cares about them? Yeah,
they don't need it. They don't need to know.
I think it's pretty great that James Gunn is like being so transparent with fans, because that's the thing that we don't know anything until these movies come out, and then we're left to like speculate, like, whoa, how did they decide this? Like, I don't understand how they came to put this in the movie or use this. I think
he has to be so transparent because of how bad it's been in the DC universe.
Yeah,
like DC has handled it so poorly for so long that James Gunn's like, I'm telling them everything we're doing. They're going to know. I'm going to be very transparent about it. And it's like people are going to hate it or love it or whatever, but like they're at least going to know what's happening.
And
whereas we had no idea what was going on with Zack Snyder.
Yeah, and he can because he's top dog. He doesn't have anyone that he has to write notes for, like any producers.
He's Bill Belichick on the Patriots. He can do whatever he wants. He can date one of the actors. Who cares?
Well, you mentioned
Well,
Zack
he's
Snyder, but
married,
I was thinking
so
of,
he doesn't need to.
Well, they were dating. Now they're married.
You mentioned Zack Snyder, but I thought of Kevin Feige because obviously Kevin Feige's different in the fact that he was successful. But
That's all the difference. If
But-
Zack Snyder was successful, this wouldn't even be a
be-
conversation.
We would have had
we
our
wouldn't even be talking
3-part
about
Justice
this.
League movie.
Oh
We
my
would have had that
gosh.
final Apocalypse
Would have
movie.
Dark Side.
We would have had
Good Darkseid.
an actual Flashpoint movie that actually was true to the story. You know, whatever.
Nice. Yeah.
Whatever. Moving on. We're
Whatever.
done.
But Kevin Feige is not transparent at all. In fact, he actively lies to his fans to make
Good,
them believe
'cause he can.
something because he can't, because he's successful. That's the
He's
thing.
earned that
Hey,
right. Yeah,
Patrick
he
Stewart
has
was never
earned
going
that
to be in the MCU. Never. Didn't get a deal.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I never saw him.
So, anyways, it's very different approaches, but I really like that he's like on Twitter and Threads, like replying to fans, literally. Like if they ask a question, there's a good chance that you might get an answer from
Yeah.
James Gunn on social media. So that's really cool, really transparent of him. But yeah, season 1 of Peacemaker is now canon, except for the Justice League part. So that was my other
Perfect.
little tidbit news there. So
Is there any other news?
no, that was it.
Can we?
That was all my nerd news for today.
Did you guys see the other one? The one little nerd news I want to add. Did you guys see the
Go for it.
other new trailer for Minecraft?
Oh, I did watch that. Yeah, it looks
What are
bad.
they doing? What are they doing?
I have no idea.
What the
dude.
hell are they doing?
Okay, the concept for Minecraft movie just sounds weird in general,
Oh, yeah.
and the trailers are doing nothing to
No,
absolve that caution within
and
me.
I love
Like
I love Jack Black, but they were like,
I
Jack Black, you
know.
don't even have to shave. You just come in here and be
Just-
Jack Black.
just do whatever you want.
You just be
Ugh.
Jack Black. You make your silly things. Like why
What
why not make it like when they go to the Minecraft universe, then they change,
What if I told you?
right? Like
What
why
you
is that so
think-
hard?
what you
Like
think-
Lego the thing.
What if I told you? What if you think how you think about The Rock is how I think about Jack Black?
That I would be very upset about. They are
Because
very
Jack Black
different
is
people.
basically the same person in all his movies the last 5 to 10 years.
I don't care. He's hilarious.
That's fair.
And he's a good person.
Yeah, well, he's also
That's the other thing about Jack. Jack Black's
know,
a good person.
You heard about his Santa movie where he plays the devil.
Yes, I did see trailers for that. That's very
See,
nice.
I
he's
heard
blind. He's
about
blind
that,
to
yeah.
the whole thing. Isaac.
But he's
blind to it.
but he's always done that. Like Tenacious D has always done that. I'm not shocked.
Just
that
justifying
he-
for his love for Jack Black over here.
he's a funny guy. I like him.
Can't do no wrong.
He's nice. He's nice to people.
Yeah.
He
I
doesn't
bet
seem fake
liberal
about
Mark probably loved Jack Black.
What was
it. Well,
that?
Mark's a different guy.
I bet
Liberal
liberal Mark
Mark
probably
loved
loved
that.
Jack Black.
I like Jack Black. Jack Black has done nothing to hurt my feelings yet. Maybe Minecraft will be it because I'll have to
Yeah.
go with my son and I'll be like,
The
"This
the
is
one
shit. You just
the
took the
one
worst job
line
possible."
in that movie.
This is like the
in
Jumanji
trailer,
movie
excuse me.
and the Haunted Mansion movie and the Goosebumps movie. It's like he's the same person in all his movies.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
hilarious.
there's a lot of actors that are that.
There's a lot of actors that do that, but the Rock just pissed me off.
But
with
The
his
Rock, I just don't
greater
like because he hurt me
greater
in
but-
Black
but
Adam.
he did the greater than thou
That's
Black
fair.
Adam.
For Robbie,
BS.
that was a personal
He can't
attack
like
on him.
he contractually can't lose in a movie. Dude's a douchebag. He's
That
fake.
is a
He's so
wild-
fake.
It's a wild contract clause. The
What
one
if I told you all of
line
Hollywood's
in that
fake?
that's also
That's
true.
not true.
Not Jack
All of-
Black. He's real.
Jack
Jack
Black.
Black is a real person and he's really funny. Have you seen School of Rock? He got those kids together again for School of Rock to play the music again at a concert. It was awesome.
Wow. Amazing. Wild stuff.
Great movie. But the one line in that trailer that sent me was the very first line that Jack Black says was, "As a child, I yearned for the."
Oh, that
So
yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
perfect.
what?
That
Oh
is
my
the
God.
one like positive so far because that's the
Uh,
meme.
Yeah, and then the rest of the trailer was just garbage. But
Yeah, the
that
rest
one
of
I
the
was
trailer's
like,
garbage, but-
what?
As a
So,
child, I
because-
yearned for the mines.
On to another subject. Because of Robbie's love for Jack Black, how was Borderlands?
I don't watch it. I don't know what that is.
Interesting.
I never
it's
watched
not- it's
Borderlands.
not
Like
a-
I knew it was bad. I never played the
it was
games.
only in
Like,
the
I had no
theater for
interest
like
in
a
Borderlands.
month because they
Yeah,
took
but
it
it's
out.
streaming
because
now.
that garbage.
I'll probably watch it eventually. It'll probably.
I'll
pop
watch
up
it when
and
it
I'll
comes to
watch it.
streaming for free. Is it on
I
streaming?
haven't
for
watched
free?
Madam Web
might
yet
be
either.
already.
Did you guys
Yeah.
watch Madam Web
I haven't.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it at Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
or The Room again? If Robert's
That'd be
if Robert's coming, he's not going to be. Robert will be coming if
he
we
will
watch
be
Madam-
if we watch that.
we watch Madam Web. That's the only saving grace I can even think about for watching Madam Web. It's like the movie's terrible, but
an alive
I'm,
Uncle
I'm
Ben's
gesturing.
in it.
I'm for the people listening. I'm gesturing to the camera, like, but
What are you
the
just?
view. It's a nice
Explain
view.
this to us.
Nice views.
Or I can bring that documentary where that guy tells us how oddly superheroes are demonic. We could watch that too.
Oh, I want to watch that
Oh,
one really bad.
Yeah,
Actually,
we
so
should
yes.
do a we should
Well,
do a
I forgot.
watch party.
Isaac's not gonna.
Mark,
Are you
let's do a
kidding me?
watch party with that.
I've
let's
been
do it.
talking about that for like 2 years.
Then do it!
We need Scott Egan to recommend it, and all you guys will be in.
Mark, we
All
can
right.
do things.
Scott,
We
he
can
gets
do
stamp of
things.
approval. Pretty sure I heard him whisper in my ear that he wants us to watch it. So there we
Okay,
go.
good.
I'm not even sure Scott's alive.
Are you saying he's
Haven't heard
AI
from him.
or like part of
He
the
could be
Matrix?
AI. I've never seen a video of his face. I don't think. It's always
Interesting.
like
Maybe
a
he
video
is.
of like
Oh.
someone posting his kids. He might not
Maybe
be
he
real.
isn't real. Yeah, who knows? So that's it for nerd news.
Nick Chubb for
Yeah,
the
if
win,
you have
wow.
any, if you have any ideas or thoughts on James Gunn's DCU Creature Commandos or Peacemaker season 2, let us know on social media.
Or if
All
you
right,
really like
guys.
Jack Black, make sure you let Mark.
Or yes, please let us know about your deep.
Who's
love.
better, Jack
Jack Black.
Black or The Rock? We're gonna make a poll on
Both
that
in
right
Jumanji.
now.
That's true.
Jumanji is not a bad movie. I'll give you
It's a
that.
fun. It's a fun.
Jumanji's okay.
popcorn flick.
It's a
Jumanji's
great
okay.
popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Just like Jungle
Sure,
Cruise,
sure.
which is basically The Rock playing the same person.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm not listening. I'm making a poll.
Good job, Mark. That was a good connection. All right. Let's
Are
dive
you-
into.
well, can you make a poll
the
not on
movie.
the camera, please?
It's not on the camera. It's on my phone.
Oh, what?
I'm putting on. You can cut this all out. I'm putting it on Twitter. I'm listening. Keep talking.
I'm gonna look up the penguin anyway. So. The Penguin, a TV miniseries that dropped this year, just finished up. Was it a week ago? 2 weeks ago? Sunday, November 10th. That was already almost 2 weeks ago. 8 episodes following Oz Cobb, who appears in The Batman, Robert Pattinson's and Matt Reeves, The Batman.
Mhm.
And he makes a play to seize the reins of the crime world in Gotham after the events of The Batman. It's a series that you can watch on HBO Max. Colin Farrell stars again as the Penguin, Kristen Milioti as Sophia Falcone, and then what's his name? Renzi, what's his name? Renzi Felice as Victor Aguilar. Lots of really good things coming out of this, but I want to get a real quick 60-second non-spoiler review from each of you guys on the Penguin, and then after that we'll give a spoiler warning and dive really deep into the Penguin. Mark, what are your thoughts? Non-spoiler.
Non-spoiler.
Give us your rating.
My
We'll say
rating
that
of
for
the
later.
Don't
Penguin.
give the rating or do give the rating.
My
Don't give the
rating
Don't
of
give
the
the rating.
Penguin is a 6.
I just said don't give the rating.
Don't give the rating.
I make
I said don't give it. That's fine.
Oh, I won't give
You
it.
already
Then.
give it a 6. It's fine.
No,
6 out of 8.
it was going to be higher than a 6.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
So I'll save what point I give it.
Wow.
Okay.
Doesn't seem
Okay.
fair.
Continue.
Where was I? Oh yeah. My review, not rating. I got too excited. I got premature, as Robbie would say.
Yeah. Happens to a lot of us.
Happens is the best.
Most actually.
Most, yeah. I'll do my review like this. Colin Farrell, after all the grief people tried to give him, that the production didn't hire some fat guy to play the Penguin can go eat their socks because Colin Farrell gets prosthetic, changes his voice, trains to do a different cadence with his walk, and then holds our hand with one of the greatest performances in at least 2024, if not this decade, of a minor character, or one of the galleries of the villains, not the main dog like Batman, the Penguin. He should win every effing award that an actor can get for playing this, because you get lost in the sauce of his acting. Colin Farrell is top dog, top notch. Go see the Penguin. It is amazing.
Wow,
that's my review.
That's a sparkling review. Robbie, what did you think of it?
I will piggyback off of Mark, because Mark is a big, strong boy. He can pick me up. Yeah, the Penguin, Colin Farrell, and I will also give Kristen Milioti, I hope I'm saying that right, her flowers. She should also get every single award. The range that both of them showed throughout this film, or throughout this show, is incredible. Not once watching the show did I think, oh yeah, it's Colin Farrell. Like, no, he is Oswald Cobblepot, which I know that isn't actually the name they give him. He's just Oswald.
He's actually Oz Cobb, but
it does say Oswald Oz Cobb.
It does now. It didn't when we reviewed it.
It doesn't say Cobblepot, but yeah, you're right.
Which is a detailed change that doesn't matter to the grand scheme of things.
Does not matter. No, but not once did you go like, oh yeah, that's definitely Colin Farrell. If a random person watched this show and you never showed them the name of the actor, they would have no clue who he was.
Yeah, you have to know who you're looking at to kind of see the features of his eyes, but that's about it.
Yeah, just the eyes and the nose structure.
Yeah.
Like, he does such a good job. And I will end it on this. The Penguin is not a good guy. He never was.
And wasn't redeemable at all. If you thought he was going to get redeemed,
if you trust him at all to be a good guy while you're watching the show, you are wrong. And they have done such a good job. They did such a good job writing this show that all of us kind of thought he had redeemable features. And we were all misled and completely incorrect.
Lost.
This show is incredible. They knocked it out of the park with this.
There you go.
We are very high on the Penguin.
Yeah, very high on the Penguin. I also am very high on the Penguin. And you guys already talked about Colin pretty high. Like, pretty high.
Hell yeah.
You guys already talked about Colin Farrell. So I'm going to talk more about Kristen Milioti. Like, I was not familiar with her game at the beginning of this. Like, the only thing I'd ever seen her in was the last season of How I Met Your Mother, which is complete garbage. That season is just awful. So I was not expecting a lot from her in this, and she completely shocked me as Sophia Falcone. Like, she stole the show probably in a good 2 or 3 episodes. Like, I almost forgot this was a Penguin show for a couple episodes there, because she was just absolutely killing it, literally, as Sophia Falcone. Just phenomenal. So yeah, same vein as you guys. Absolutely incredible show. And I didn't come into it expecting much from this show either, which is probably the reason why this show rocks so hard to me, is that I was like kind of expecting like, yeah, it'll be fine. Like, it'll be good. I didn't think it was going to be relevant to the overall scope of Matt Reeves' DCU, I guess, like, wow. It was so stinking good. Storytelling was amazing. I can probably guess what our score is already going to be just based off of these non-spoiler reviews.
And with that, I think what did the story even more justice is that they didn't do a prequel to the Batman movie. This is happening after.
Right.
Like the main, heart of it's after the events of the Batman. So it's not like we're doing a prequel leading, like, knowing what's going to happen. It's like, okay, clearly what's happening here is going to be very much tied to the movie, because based from what happens eliminates some villains that can be used in the movie or the sequel.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, from here on out, we are going to be full spoilers. So if you haven't watched, obviously, pause this episode, go back and do that now. All right, guys. All bars are off now. You can talk about whatever you want.
Called it with Victor.
Penguin.
Called that.
Yeah, you totally did, Mark.
Screw the Penguin.
Like the first few scenes with a penguin in him, I'm like, this MFer is gonna kill him. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he's gonna do it.
But
Yeah.
we all
knew
thought
up
that.
until the
knew.
moment that he killed him. I was like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, like he's gonna let him live. Like,
that was like he's gonna grow
This
as
is
a
his
person. He'll kill anyone else. He'll be a scumbag. But Vic's got it. But doesn't have the guts to kill his mom. Doesn't have the guts to kill Zhao. Doesn't have the guts to kill his escort. But kills Vic. So a Vic who like would at this point, because Vic killed people
puppy dog
for him, would never have turned on him. He went and got Zhao to turn on everyone else. Stupid.
F Oswald Cobblepot.
See, this is how great it is, and how great the story of that was told is. They got you believing that both Oz and Sophia had redeeming qualities in them.
Yeah.
And neither of them did. They're scumbag villains who are evil.
But Sophia did have redeeming qualities originally.
She did, because she was
her
framed
into what she was.
Yeah.
They transformed her. The
Gotham,
world
Gotham
around her
Asylum.
and Gotham Asylum transformed her into what she was and what she had to become to get her revenge. Oswald has been a piece of shit since he was born.
Oh,
that guy was born devil. Like,
oh man, that episode where they flash back to his childhood. Oh, man!
I was hoping in the episode, like, please go back in the rain and be like, okay, brothers, we're fine.
Yeah, right.
And the whole time he's even looking outside. That's like every time you're like, okay, this is the moment he's gonna go be like, okay, my mom will be right back. I'm gonna go find the brothers.
And he's just happy. He's got his mom. He's watching some stupid show, and he's just as happy as can be.
Completely psychopath.
He freaking smiles, and he's immediately like, "I'm gonna take care of us. I got this." Yeah. What a
wild
douchebag.
Absolutely wild. But that goes to show that like all of these like I've been calling them anti-villain shows and movies that we're getting because obviously like we get the hero, they become anti-hero, blah blah, villains. A lot of these companies are turning these villains into anti-villains where they give them, like you said, like these redeeming qualities. And like Loki, great example. He's a villain. He's a bad guy. He's an obvious bad guy. And then through the Loki series, he basically becomes a good guy. Like, yeah, he's still a bad guy. He's done bad things. But in the overall scheme of things, he's like basically going for the good of mankind, right? And then we get like Agatha all along that just finishes up before Penguin, and you kind of get the same vibes. It's like, oh, Agatha's a bad person, but she also is like kind of has these good things about her. Right. This show,
she only changed because these bad things happened to her. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And this show is like, no, these are bad people and they're going to stay bad, which I absolutely loved about it. Like it didn't hold any punches. It just went for it. And the storytelling was phenomenal for that.
Balls as a director from going the opposite way of everyone else. Like you're saying, like, we're trying to make villains like make them have a cause. Like they even tried it with Thanos. Like Thanos is actually just trying to help. And I know that's kind of like the MO for Thanos, but like they tried to make him this like kind of likable person.
Well, he was
like
wrong.
What? Thanos was right.
Yeah,
but Oswald is just they tricked you into thinking that he had redeeming qualities, and then they're like, nah, F that. You don't got nothing.
Well, the moment he was playing against the Maronis and the Falcons, I'm like, this dude knows exactly what he's doing, and it's like so quick. This is what I loved what they made with Oz. They made him so quick to be able to just change routes if something just went haywire. Like he just always like they kept calling him a rat. It's like he's a survivor, and that's why he's going to be able. That's how we got to the top, is being a survivor and willing to do whatever to get there and stay there. So it'll be exciting if they do a season 2 or if we get more of him in the second movie. So
that's actually what was going to be my next question. So like we don't know much about this like Elseworlds like Matt Reeves universe besides we're getting Batman Part 2 or whatever it's going to be called at this point. I would assume after this that we're going to get more spin-offs because this was very successful. I mean, besides
unless you're IGN
is probably
gave it
the
a
only
I mean,
five.
now, yeah, if you listen to IGN, it was this show
review.
sucks.
But I mean, everybody has rave reviews about this show. I don't see them not capitalizing on this and not moving forward with another.
Isn't there already like
miniseries
talks
with
of them making
character.
a second one?
I am not sure. I'm sure there's been rumors, but I don't know if there's been any official announcements about it.
Would you like to know the rating that IGN gave the finale?
Yes, please.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. A somewhat messy but ultimately thrilling finale of The Penguin tops off Oswald Cobb's origin story with a mix of thoughtful introspection and tantalizing fan service. What was the fan service?
Yeah, there's like
what the heck?
There's no fan service at all in The Penguin.
Like, is the fan service being like trying to stay accurate to the villain aspect of it all, or like
maybe because they put the bat symbol at the end?
Yeah, that's got to be what that's a reference.
These guys are freaking idiots.
It was like a 2-second clip. That's
These guys
ridiculous.
are so freaking dumb.
Oh man, yeah.
Who
IGN
are these people?
However,
ridiculous.
They gave. I think they ended up giving. Was it a total 5 out of? Okay, so they gave the Batman a 5 out of 10, but they gave the Penguin a 5 out of 10, but they gave the Acolyte a 6 out of 10.
Yes, that's what we talked about on the show the other day. They think the Acolyte is better than this. They think. I mean, and like we were kind of not like super down on Rings of Power, but a little down on Rings of Power. They think Rings of Power is better than this. It's not. It's just not. Like if
the story was so juicy in the Penguin.
Yeah,
like,
if you put this on
dialogue
and just let people watch it, everyone would eat it up. People would eat this up. If this was on Netflix, because I think we all know like Max is what the third biggest streaming service. It's not the biggest. It's up there, but it's not the biggest. Like if this is on Netflix, it explodes. It's everywhere.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's almost a detriment to it that it's on Max because I feel like not that many people are going to probably see it, which is unfortunate.
But you get your main fan base who loves DC and the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you need to make your money. Wild idea.
Is that enough to get it a season 2 or a different spinoff?
Probably.
Maybe we get what if we get a
hear me out.
A Hangman.
Acolyte's not getting a season 2 because the Star Wars fans are very vocal when you F with them.
They're very vocal.
You ain't gonna get as much vocal from DC fans.
So
but they don't really
DC fans.
They don't really care about the Star Wars fans anymore. But when the other people that aren't the Star Wars fans start getting mad, then they're like, "Oh, okay, this is really bad."
That's their gauge, right? Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have obviously you still have the Snyderverse people, which I feel like that fandom has died down quite a bit the past couple years.
They still exist, and they're still idiots.
They still exist. There's still a few of them hanging out, but I feel like since James Gunn has taken over, a lot of them have been less vocal online. But yeah, DC, I don't feel like there's as many vocal fans as Star Wars, and Star Wars is just massive too. Like it's way bigger than anything that DC's got going on as far as like a single IP or anything like that. But I don't know, man. It's unfortunate that it's hidden behind Max, but it also makes it one of those just like hidden gems. I feel like too, that people are going to come back to and be like, "Oh wow, this show was really fantastic! Like I can't believe I missed this show when it was going on."
I would say there hasn't been a single Disney Plus superhero show that I'll be like, "Oh, I want to go back and watch that." None of them are good enough, in my opinion. And maybe that's not true for everyone, but The Penguin, I could go back and watch and really enjoy it. Like, I don't know. There's enough there to watch it again and be like, oh, I missed this, I missed that, and like there's more things to interact with. Whereas, just for I don't know, the Disney and the Star Wars, or the Star Wars and the Marvel shows are just like, I don't need to rewatch many of these. Maybe The Mandalorian, but that's about it.
I just told Last Return. Oh yeah, oh my the little talking about little tidbits that you pick up, because I didn't pick this up until I saw it online, was the doctor, one of the doctors who sees Sophia, where they have a relationship.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting his name in the show. He's also in Breaking
Dr.
Bad. He's
Julian Rush.
Yeah, and the actor
Nice.
was in Sons of Anarchy, I believe. That's where I saw him originally.
Yeah.
And apparently, in one of his office scenes, you see like gloves that are supposed to potentially be scarecrow gloves. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
That would make sense. That would make
so
sense.
like I love that, like those little Easter eggs. I'd love to rewatch and see if I can pick those up. So.
Yep. Yeah, that, and I mean, obviously this is a while ago, but like in the Batman, we get that little scene with the Joker in the cell. Like there's other villains out there in this universe, and we're potentially going to see them with Batman Part 2. But do you guys think there's potential for more different miniseries, or like a season 2 of Penguin, or a spin-off of Penguin even? What do you guys think is for the future of like Matt Reeves universe?
Oh, they could knock a Two-Face show would knock people's socks off. A Two-Face show would be really, really good. I think that would be the route I would personally go. I don't know.
Well,
Mark, what do you got?
I'm with you. This is my, if we were running a movie studio, this is how I see it. Our movies, and we're just sticking in the Batman universe. Like other stuff can happen to DCUs, but we're the ones who work with Batman. We're
Batman's rogue gallery.
We are the Batman crew. We're doing Batman IP stuff, and then eventually we'll talk and do a combined thing. But like the movies, all Batman. TV shows, all the villains. We're going to give you all the context of the villains in the TV shows, and just like true Batman lore, all these villains that we'll show you are going to show up somewhere in the movie because they exist in this world, unless Batman locks them up in Arkham. And currently we have some locked up. We don't have some locked up, and there's gonna be new ones. So that's how I see it. It's like, you know, we could do like, hey, here's our Two-Face show. He's gonna show up here, and then whatever is successful, you can keep doing it and keep pushing the story that like, hey, here's what happened in this movie. So season 2 is gonna be reflective of the Penguin from what happened in season 2.
You're essentially getting one shots of the villains as a TV series,
right?
And then they're like included in the movies, and you don't necessarily need. That's the other thing. You don't necessarily need to watch the shows. It's important. Like the backstory for Penguin, I feel like is going to be important. I would think.
Well, especially when it's like all of a sudden he did the Iceberg Lounge. Now he's in a penthouse.
Right. Like that's all going to be important stuff. Especially because you're going to be like, I would assume in the Batman 2 we're going to see like the Penguin's mom, and Batman's going to be like, what's going on here, or something like that. But if you had not seen the Penguin, that's going to be very confusing. So
do you think the Penguin's going to be part of the Court of Owls?
I don't know. Is that what they're saying the Batman 2 is going to be? I've heard rumors.
Well, I heard that was like one of the tidbits in the when they're in the chamber offer or the.
He was in the
chamber.
Penguin's included in the Court of Owls storyline. Like he's in there. Like
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like that. If that's their route that they're going to go with the main story, it would work to have the Penguin back for that.
Yeah, Mark, you were just referencing it, but there's a scene where
the commission
is in. Yep, he's in the like courtroom.
It's a commission room. I mean, it's for the city. It's like I couldn't think of that, and there's a commission room in the city I work for. So
you would know. There you go. But there's a bunch of like tapestries behind him that are shaped kind of like owls. So there's people speculating that this is a reference to Court of Owls. Maybe we get that in Batman Part 2.
Court of Owls is a perfect storyline for this universe.
And maybe I'm being just too blindsided because of my just love for comic book stuff and not thinking of what Marvel's done to us with TV shows. I'm just assuming the writers and the overseers of the show had no Penguin and Batman lore to not just like accidentally like, oh, there's just a weird coincidence that our tapestry looks like Penguin or like owls. Oopsies.
Yeah. Yep. Or a weird coincidence that there's, like you mentioned, Robbie, the gloves and the, goggles or whatever in the background. Like, oh, yeah, they just were there. I don't know.
Just there. Fun little Easter eggs for you.
Do you think the Hangman, Sophia Falcone, has enough weight to take on a spin-off series of her own at this point?
No, I don't, because we've already got the most impactful things from her. I don't think like she can still be a side character or a big time side character, but I don't think it's not necessary to go down her storyline.
Yeah.
And
But
it's not like she turns into a different villain down the road.
Right,
Like she's just
right,
always
sure.
this person.
okay, here's the question I want to pose to you guys. Is Victor dead?
That's a good question.
Because there's been speculation on the interwebs that he becomes Victor Zsasz,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
notorious murderer who marks himself for every murder he does.
That was the first one that I thought, like when we saw him in episode whatever it was, 1 or 2, that he shows up, like he's named Victor and he's in this universe, obviously quite different from the typical Victor Zsasz that you see.
I did like, because like they showed his driver's license at the end, so I was like, I gotta search his name and see. There's nothing. His name means nothing in the DC comic book
it's
universe.
not like
So there's no
established
Easter
name
egg there. But
there's also another Batman villain that's named Victor Freeze. So we could potentially get him too if he's still alive.
Mr. Freeze storyline would also be
that would go hard in this universe.
A Mr. Freeze would be a really good storyline too, because that one is actually a redeeming quality type one. That's kind of like
I feel like that would have to be real early, because like Victor Freeze is old and he has a pretty.
He's a scientist.
Like,
he's an established person who, because of a tragedy, becomes a villain.
And he has a very good like driving motive as a villain, with his wife.
There's history behind.
There would have to be a lot to happen in Victor's life for.
So like with that theory,
definitely not Victor. Yeah, Victor's
with Vic, did we see his dead body?
We saw him laying there. And then we saw Penguin walking away. That's all we have.
Trying to give us so yes, there's enough there that Penguin didn't kill him. And we're in the movie comic book realm of stuff.
Penguin did not check. He choked him out and then just let him lay there.
But it had to be an intimate death like that, because that's that's the only way Penguin could do it.
Absolutely, but that's the thing. He didn't double check to make sure he was dead.
Well, and also
just like Maroney, where he shot him a few times after he died of a heart attack.
Someone else, like choking someone out isn't a death sentence.
Right, exactly. It's like, probably the least successful way of murdering somebody, if that's how you want to.
You said it's the least successful way?
Yeah. I mean, there's probably other ways that are less successful.
What's the most successful way?
And while we're on this, how is it going? What's your body count at? And what's the most successful you've done?
Why don't you just incriminate yourself? What was the fastest? What was the cleanest? Come on, Dexter, spill the beans.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you really, really wanted to kill him,
smart movie, didn't tell
why wouldn't you just shoot him in the head? Like, obviously that's
he did. Okay, so like, so the reason why he doesn't shoot him at this point is because he's made basically the deal with one of the commissioners, so he can't have a gun on him that can trace him back, because he'll be able to get the bullet and forensics figure out where this where the gun came from, and then potentially incriminate himself, versus choking him out and dropping him where he won't really necessarily pin him to that murder, and no one knows that he's been working with Vic. So like that's why it's an intimate thing, and also for cinematic reasons, you make it intimate like that, because they've been so close that he can't kill him cold-bloodedly.
But here's, and you can tell me if this is a bad idea. Remember the first time that Vic and Penguin meet? They're at the junkyard or whatever, and he's helped him get rid of the bodies, and he tells him to turn around, and Vic doesn't trust him to turn around. What if they would have instead at the end here, if Penguin, they're like standing up, Penguin goes like, hey, look at that over there, and Vic just immediately doesn't trust him. Boom. Would that not have been as because at the beginning Vic didn't trust him at all, like thought he was going to kill him. Well, like what if he did it here and Vic trusts him right away?
It would be
boom, back of the head.
I get where you're going with it. I think it would have.
You know what I'm saying? Like
it would have had
a connection there.
It would have had a good payoff. It would have had a good payoff. But I think the emotional watching Vic suffer, and having to like think what's going through his head in that moment.
We're still having visceral reactions to it right now.
So painful and to watch. It's like that's what makes that scene far more intense, far more memorable, and far more like ingraining that the Penguin is just a horrible person.
I am not a vocal TV watcher. I don't react. Like I've cried at movies and stuff, but like I don't like vocally react. When he started doing that, I like sat up in my chair like, "What are you doing?" Like, I was
Jesse,
like,
vocally
upset about it. Yes, I don't know. I can't remember the last movie I did that to, or the movie or show. Like that pissed me off so bad. Golly, I'm so pissed about it. How dare I?
Still.
I hope Vic comes back and kills everybody. I don't even care. No.
Another good thing that they did as a show
Vic
is
becomes Court of Owls. Does Vic join the Court of Owls?
see that's very possible. That'd be who's the. I know kind of it could and couldn't make sense with it, but I can't think of the villain who has the puppet. Like that is what Vic could turn into, where he's carrying around a puppet because his voice is all effed up.
Yeah, it's ventriloquist.
Yeah, like that would be an interesting. I mean, if we're going down the road of weird villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want Vic to be the ventriloquist. The ventriloquist sucks. Don't do that.
Okay,
Don't ruin Vic.
before I go into my next thing I wanted to bring up, who do we see first in either this Batman or the James Gunn universe as a villain? The ventriloquist or Condiment King?
Condiment King.
Condiment
for sure.
King
I wouldn't
will
even
be
be
in,
shocked if Condiment King
Peacemaker,
shows up in
yeah.
Creature Commandos, like the first thing.
Creature Commandos.
Like I could see it.
I could see him like showing up in either that or Peacemaker season 2.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be
Just
awesome.
as a like, what the hell's this guy?
Yeah.
Just
Condiment King.
Just Peacemaker roasting Condiment King like for a whole
Mhm.
episode.
Ventriloquist is such a weird villain. Like it's not like Condiment King is hilarious at least. Like Ventriloquist is just weird.
Okay. I'll take that.
God, ooh,
So we gotta talk about
ooh.
Frances Cobb and the actress who played Frances Cobb, and then also
Yeah.
how well the story of her was told with her Lou Body's dementia, where how true they were to that disease, and how like how it's actually like how it's been shown how that disease works, and like that was another like little thing that like they really could have just played it as like, oh we're gonna call it this, but we're not gonna be true to that disease. Yeah, one of those things. It was like she really is not in the time that we currently are. She's going back in time, and that's what we get in the later seasons where it's like she's old and like she's like with her young kids. Like that's that was a great thing.
Yeah.
And the actress who did that was just again another thing where you're just like lost in the story. You're just or immersed would be the better term. You're just immersed with it. You're just like you're all in. And also another thing, this became bingeable for me where I finished an episode and I had to watch another episode on a work day or work.
God forbid. Yeah. Deirdre O'Connell is the actress that plays Frances Cobb.
Knocked it out.
Absolutely agree with you there, Mark. She was phenomenal. The portrayal of that specific form of dementia is top notch. Like that's a hard thing to nail in acting. I feel like is somebody losing their mind in a convincing manner, right? Like I think that's just wow, that was a phenomenal way to do that. And that episode, like you said, where she is remembering all those things and she's basically reliving them, in her current body, which, I mean, that's when we get the most crazy reveals about the Penguin is that like, oh yeah, this dude has been a psycho since he was a small child. Right. Like, and she had to live with that her whole entire life.
And just knowing
like
she was gonna murder, like have someone murder.
She was gonna kill her own kid.
Which, like, crazy. In that, it's really weird to say, but like, if you're that parent and you know what your child did, like, it'd be hard to be like ever trusting that kid,
right?
Ever,
yeah.
Like, golly, I don't know. That's a weird, like balancing as a parent to be like, I don't know how much I can love this kid anymore.
So in the scene when they have him tied up and his mom tied up, the Penguin.
Yeah.
And she finally, like, she's in a clear head and says, like, I've always hated you, and stabs him. I would, and like, even up to that moment, he was willing to lie and let his mom's finger be cut off. That's where it's like, poof, just like that was hard to just experience. But like, what was going through his head? Like, is he so devoid of being wrong or taking any type of criticism and or like, what would be the word?
I think it's how he plays his cards, because he's like, I think in his mind he's probably like, someone will remember this, someone will hear this, someone will
But no, but like,
record this, something like that. Like,
has he
can't have
convinced
any
himself
loose
he
ends.
didn't do anything wrong though with killing his brothers? Like, that's the whole thing. And like,
Oh no,
Right.
I don't
like
think
he
I don't
has
think he
zero
knows-
remorse for that. He has to have zero remorse for that.
No,
zero
yeah.
empathy. His entire being
There you go.
is
Empathy was the word I was looking
the
for.
extreme narcissism,
Yes,
and just moving ahead and always
When he was
protecting his
willing
corners,
to let his mom's finger get cut off in that moment, that's when I was like,
Right.
this dude is I that's the moment that I just was speechless. I think, and then basically the whole last 2 episodes after that, or was that in the last second to last
was the
episode? or
second
something
last
like that?
episode.
second
I
last.
think.
But yeah, I mean, like that whole sequence, and then the last episode, man, I was just like,
It-
they
I mean,
crafted
that's what makes
this
him such a
incredible
good
story.
villain.
You thought exactly, you thought he was this guy who like cared about the community, about his mom, about Vic, all this stuff, and then like in that moment, you're like, oh, this guy does not care about any of those people.
Well,
he is
no.
solely in this for himself. Like,
But he does
such
still
a
care about his
selfish
mom.
person that
Like,
He
that's
wants like his mom's approval.
he's
But not
convinced
necessarily
himself
how
that
he
he
gets
cares
it.
and loves about his mom, but like when it comes down to it, I mean, he's like, he lets her get her finger chopped off, and he was still
Right.
denying it after she got out and like stabbed him, like
yeah.
just
Oh, gosh.
psychopathic.
And the scene
behaviors, man.
where you see like she's like in the penthouse or whatever, hooked to that machine. Also, there's
Yeah.
no nurses. Like, he's gonna take
Yeah.
care of her if she flatlines.
No.
It doesn't make any sense. But then like you see a tear roll down her eyes. Like,
because
now
she's
she's
stuck
like-
in this body,
she's
stuck
living
to
in
Well,
hell.
him,
if
and
you,
now he knows that she knows, and it's just like, oh my gosh, wow.
My mom once told me she's a nurse as well, a terrifying her theory with Alzheimer's or dementia is like, she's like, yeah, I believe your mind, you're like just trapped in a vessel, like you're all there, you just
Mhm.
can't move your body, speak, or anything. And then with the stroke,
Mhm.
it's like, I like with that in my head, I was like, yeah, she's all there, she now just can't communicate, she's stuck
Right.
looking out this window.
Well, then you got Oz and his psycho. You got his lady that dresses up like his mom, and then tells him he's
Well,
a good
she-
guy
That
and
last
stuff.
scene was haunting, where he was
Yeah.
like telling her to basically treat
psychotic.
him like just
Yeah, say I'm a good boy. Say
wow,
I'm doing a good
creeps.
job.
Got big creepy factor there.
But she's
Well,
there.
we always kind of were interested in, like, we never fully understood what their relationship was. Like, they were like, she was always there for him, but we never really knew like what was going on between them. It's like, well,
Mhm.
now she knows. She dresses up like her mom,
Well, now
like his
now
mom,
she,
and
now she
says
does
he's a good boy.
because his mom's not there anymore.
well, I bet she did before. Like, I bet that's always
Yeah,
been the thing.
That scene gave me very
Yeah.
much Homelander vibes.
Because
Oh, yeah. Big
yeah.
time.
But you got to think his mom probably never said he did a good job because she knew what had happened. She probably
True.
never gave.
Yeah.
him-
But he's
well,
finally
that's
there,
what-
so
yeah.
like that's why he's like that's why that's happening. I don't think she dressed up like his mom prior. And what we're
I think
talking
so.
about is the character who is like,
Yes.
I don't know if
They
she's
said
like the
at his
leader.
house and stuff.
Yeah, and she's a prostitute, but I don't know if she's like, the female version of a pimp with everything.
Something like that. Yeah.
Seems kind of like that, yeah.
But that's the whole thing where it's like they
headmaster,
clearly
is that what it is? Like a brothel? Like
Sure.
The headmaster. or
But,
something?
like,
I don't know.
clearly they went through some stuff up the ranks where they've have this
Mm.
connect. Because I still wouldn't know if they have an intimate relationship, or what do you guys think? Like, where it's
Right,
like
yeah,
this
I
seems
don't-
like more of
I
like
don't think that's what he wants. I don't think Oz. It doesn't
Like a
seem like Oz really
yeah.
cares for intimate relationship.
right.
He wants the satisfaction of being told he's doing a good job and the satisfaction
Right.
of being
Yeah,
told.
he wants the
like he's
approval
achieving
of
things and, like,
people, not
yes,
necessarily
yeah.
the relationship aspect
Right.
of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Wild though.
Yeah.
That
Golly.
scene, oh man, that whole last episode was just, I can't believe, I mean, yeah, sure, IGN gave it a 5 total, but they, even that last episode, which phenomenal finale, they gave a 7. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
Just-
I didn't kick rocks. Watch them give like Minecraft a 9.
Just inspiring, true to the story.
I'll give you my rating for Minecraft now, a 4.3. That's my rating of
That's
Minecraft. I'm
probably-
sure it'll be
it's probably
somewhat
accurate.
enjoyable because I like Jack Black.
Yep.
Mark will give it a 3.6 because he hates Jack Black. Calling our
Yeah.
shots now.
It's good predictions right there. All right, guys. Last thing we got to do is give the Penguin a rating. I don't think this segment's going to take very long. What's your rating, Mark?
6.42
That's
Oh,
not how
6.
this
Wow,
works.
that's impressive.
out of 6.
Robbie, what was your rating?
Wait, can we, if I give a higher rating, then we could have our first ever 6+ rating on the interwebs.
You can give it whatever you want. I'm probably gonna still give it a 6. So
0.01.
I thought you were gonna go like
Mad
0.01
He's
higher
mad.
than Mark,
Six
but no,
point
it didn't go
zero
that high.
No,
Well,
yeah,
I guess I'll
it's
just
really
do
really
the-
good. It's not like it's not the it's. I mean, as far as TV show goes, it's up there with some of the best.
Mhm. Especially when it
but
comes
yeah.
to like superhero TV shows. Like this has
Yes.
got to be one of the better superhero
It ha-
TV shows that we've
Yeah,
had.
that would
And
be a
he's not
good.
even a
That
superhero.
would be a good.
Oh,
Right, it's not. It's
It's
in a
in the
superhero
superhero
universe.
You
but, like,
literally could
you
take
make
this out
You could
and
do this.
make-
Yeah, Mark's
It could
gonna
be
say
like
the
a
same thing, I was
Sopranos
just saying.
type of movie, like one of
Yeah,
those, or
yeah.
shows where it's just
Yeah.
like,
And
Right.
Same
and you'd
story.
be all in. It just helps that there's
Do they-
characters that you can pull from the toy chest.
Do they ever say the word Batman
No,
in the show?
I don't
No.
remember it
No,
once
they don't.
any reference
They
to Batman
only.
except for
That's
the
what I
games.
was thinking. I was just like, they don't say the word Batman.
And I
So
loved
IGN
that.
saying they did fan service is just it's just insane.
It's insane.
Those guys.
what
those guys
what
suck.
fan service?
They didn't even
Who's
call
out
him
here like
Cobblepot. Like they didn't even use like the
Cobblepot,
real.
yeah.
Call him
Yeah.
Oz. Yeah, they completely changed his character. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's
awesome.
just wild.
And they
that
use
even
a
use that
super
line.
obscure the Hangman character as like a
Yeah.
protagonist villain. So
Was
like,
that
If they
okay?
would've used
That's
a
the
Scarecrow,
question
then
for me.
maybe,
Is
but
that
yeah.
an actual character, or
Yep.
did they make that up?
Yep.
Yes.
She's
It's
in
That's
the
an
Long
actual character.
Halloween series, so like
Okay.
they clearly the overarching
Oh my
the
gosh.
arc that they're having
Oh
here
my
is Long
gosh,
Halloween
Mark.
stuff. So
Oh my gosh, Mark! If they make a long Halloween, Mark.
well, that's
Oh
I
my
feel
gosh,
like that's
Mark.
what the first one was. It happened during Halloween, and
Oh my
we're
gosh,
only
Mark,
a few
I'd be so
days after
excited.
that. So like I'm assuming that like the Long Halloween is going to be from Halloween into Christmas. That's
The
the
Long
story.
Halloween is the comic book for Batman that made me such a Batman fan. The Long Halloween is a very good book. If you have not
I mean,
read The Long Halloween,
Maybe we'll get
Just go
Hushed,
read
the
the
Court of
Long
Owls,
Halloween.
Joker,
oh,
More
my
Penguin.
goodness, you're doing so many things. It's so good.
and that's what makes Batman such a good character to play off of. You don't need to do one villain, because if you,
Right.
you set them all into real life, you can do this whole like gallery of villains because they can all exist during
he's
the
got
same
an amazing
storyline.
rogues gallery.
What
that
storyline
can
would
go
you
so
like?
many
Like,
different-
you get to decide, Mark. What's the next storyline? If you could decide the number one storyline you want to see,
Like just of Batman in general, or like going
Yeah,
with
Batman, just Batman in his rogues gallery. What's the one? You
oh
want to see?
villain. Like you want me like villain that I want
No,
to
whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. You get
Well,
to decide the next
I-
Batman thing.
I would want to. This is where it's like it. I want a Dark Knight Returns movie. That's what I want.
Okay, no, you have to go from this Batman.
Well, that's why I asked that specifically, and you said no.
I
Gotta clarify
understand
that,
where
yeah,
the mix up is. From where we are right now, you get to pick the next like story for Batman. This Batman.
Honestly, I would love, and this is hear me out. Give me an Arkham Asylum Batman with Robert Pattinson, where he has to go into
Ooh.
Arkham, and like that's where we get to
Interesting.
see all the villains, and that's how all the villains get
Yeah.
released basically back into Gotham. Is
Sure.
because he had to go there because crap was going on. I think that'd be great.
I would want Hush. Hush is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean-
Ooh, Hush would be sweet. Yeah.
Hush is so good. Yeah, that's where I would go. But
Yeah, that'd
But
be
if I could rip off an episode from Batman the Animated Series, it's that first Mr. Freeze. I forget what the episode's called.
Heart of Ice. Is it?
Yeah, that like if you just did basically that and made it a full length film, ooh, would that make money? Just
It is
saying.
Heart of Ice. Oh, I'm so happy I got that. Heart of Ice, season 1, episode 14.
nice. Look at you. So proud of you.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best animated shows of all, or like episodes
It
of all
is.
time. It's so good.
I always loved Victor Freeze as a villain. He's a great villain.
He's got a very good storyline.
Yeah.
And that would also like if we're going the realm where we're trying to make it as like locked down real as possible, Victor Freeze would be kind of stepping in that lane, but also like with modern technology,
Real
you still
enough.
real enough, yeah.
Yeah, real enough. You could make an argument for that to be a real thing.
Yeah.
Like Court of Owls, you could
Very real.
like
Very real.
Yeah, very real. Like Hush, you definitely could.
Clayface is about the real only villain.
Clayface is out there a little bit. Yeah, that one would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
might be a little tougher.
Yeah, which I don't think we'll get Clayface in this universe. It's going to be the very down to earth.
Well, that's why Clayface is going to be in the main universe.
It's gonna be the other one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for us. I also give it a 6 because we lost track of time and I didn't even rate it. So, Infinity Snap for the Penguin. There you go. Don't get many of those anymore on the podcast, so that's pretty great. Penguin is fantastic. Make sure if you made it through this far and you haven't watched it yet, like what are you doing? Like why are you listening to this? You should definitely go watch it right now. But yeah, any other final thoughts before we wrap this up, guys, on the Penguin?
You guys should play Magic the Gathering with me and join our Discord.
We're gonna get the Penguin Universes Beyond at some point.
Someday, I would assume. We got everything Marvel.
Is the
Spider-Man comes out in 2025? Ooh. That comes out in 2025 as well. Don't know when.
I'm so excited for
SpongeBob, Spider-Man, Final Fantasy.
SpongeBob is wild. I can't believe they're doing a
I wish I had decks to play with. That would be awful,
You have a lot of decks.
Well, they're just,
you have a lot of decks. You have a lot of cards.
I think between the 6 of us, we have plenty of decks, don't we? Plenty of decks.
If you include all 6 of us, yeah.
Well, I love when we play with our decks together.
Yeah.
I love when you guys
get together. Yeah.
I do too.
When both of you have my decks in your hand, that's my favorite part.
I usually hold your deck with both my hands at the same time.
They're bigger decks. They are thicker.
I am well aware when I put them in my hands or put in my hands.
They're very, very thick deck, especially if they're sleeved for protection.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a sleeved deck, but it is what it is.
But for protection,
like
we all
I get it.
I get it.
Each other. Like, yeah, right.
I guess it's better than.
I mean, if you have consent, you could hold the deck without the sleeves.
Well, I've asked you before, but you're always like, no, sleeves stay on.
Personally, I would rather they be sleeved when you're handling my deck.
Yeah, I get it. I let you hold my deck raw. You know how I am.
Yeah. Well, I don't. You're against sleeves. I hear.
Right. I am.
You're against the protection.
Yep. I want my deck just incorporating all
if
the finger juices.
If there's some sort of spillage, you could just pull that thing right out. Like, get that thing out of there.
Exactly.
Off the table or wherever you're handling it.
Yep. I just want to be able to smell you on my deck. That's basically where I'm at.
I'm just seeing how long this can go. I mean, like,
don't know where else.
Maybe as long as
Mark wins.
I guess.
The crown.
Good job, Mark.
I'm cutting this whole part and I'm putting it on the internet.
Here's what happens in the Patreon part of the episode.
People like the deck jokes. Isaac.
Oh my gosh, I still get likes on the Instagram one that I said about like I like touching your deck. That still gets people see that and scroll down and be like, yep, that's funny. That's great stuff.
It's a childish bit where a bunch of 30-plus-year-olds making stupid deck jokes.
Deck jokes. Definitely deck jokes.
Oh, real question, Robbie. On the TikTok shop that I perused early on when we were recording, what size do you have on for shirt?
This is an XL. It fits quite nice.
What do you normally wear? Do you normally wear an XL?
Yes.
Okay, because like I was looking at,
I would say it's true to size.
Because I was reading the sizes. Sweaters, I was gonna get a shirt, so I was looking at the shirts, and the sizes that are on the shop don't match up with US sizes. So that's why I always get wary of what size I should get. Sure. But if you normally wear XLs,
shirts are good.
Okay.
If you decide to get a sweater, I would go a size above. Those
I always do with sweaters. So
snugger,
more snug,
more snug.
What are you calling me?
More. Yeah.
But you like it snug though, right?
A little snug.
Yeah.
But not my sweaters. I like the room in the sweaters. So I've gotten a few sweaters now that are a little too too snug. This. Why are we talking about this on the podcast right now?
That's a great question. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for making us
How
part of
do
your
you?
podcast.
You could have just stopped there and be like,
I
I'm just gonna put this in later.
I was literally like in the middle of that whole rant. I was like, how long is this gonna go? Like, this is going much longer than
you're gonna have to cut this all of this out and just put
probably.
Well, I mean, you can just edit the ending to where we started going off the tangent, and just obviously put this all out raw for Scott to listen to.
You know what you should do, Isaac? As soon as we start talking about the deck stuff, just give the SpongeBob voice like a few moments later, and then like do the outro. Like, and have us talking again, and then like have it end, and then do the outro. There you go.
Now I'm gonna do a real outro. So
okay, well, shut up.
Where lives? I can't.
Really
can even go great.
Can the man land the plane?
I can't do it. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for listening to the Infinity Bros podcast and being a part of our universe. Thank you so much. We love you 3000. Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, I even screwed up that one, and I'm so bad at the outros. I don't understand why I do that.
We love you. Good job.